WrestleMania 36.
The Night of Ghosts.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Hold
on. No, the date is April 4th and 5th because this is a twofer. Too big for one night, folks.
Yeah.
I'm JD.
I'm Spencer.
And this is
the heel turn. Obviously, we're separated. We have the coronavirus thing. I had a bit of a scare. I'm okay, actually. But I'm glad that we're still able to do this over Discord.
Yes, thank the Lord.
WrestleMania just closed up. What's up?
Doesn't feel the same, though. I was like fiending for my Sunday fix, man. I was like, we gotta come over. We're gonna watch some wrestling. And I'm like, oh god, no, we're not.
We'd planned to watch this like in advance, and then it's just completely dashed.
It's okay. Side note: before we get into it, are you considering WrestleMania 37 going? Because it's in California.
Oh shit! Yeah, let's consider that.
God, that's gonna be an expensive fucking thing.
Once in a lifetime, right?
Once in a lifetime. Got to hit that, and then we got to hit a Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Okay, WrestleMania 36 started with Stephanie explaining how different this one will be, for obvious reasons. Yeah. And then we get a montage of famous people singing. What's the name of that song? America the Beautiful?
America the Beautiful. There was a match prior to it. It was Cesaro versus Drew Gulak.
Oh, okay.
Gulak?
Yeah.
But I didn't watch it, and I don't think you watched it.
It was a pre-show, right?
It was a pre-show. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch.
We don't really. Sorry. I'm sure it was a great match.
Yeah. Gronk kicks us off. He's the football player, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the New England Patriots.
All right, moving on. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors for the SmackDown Women's Tag Team Championship. Oh, no, it's just the Women's Tag Team Championship. There's just one. And I guess it goes to all of them. You want me to start off?
You got it.
Asuka makes fun of Alexa Bliss and tags to Kairi Sane. I apologize if I mispronounce names or I don't know some of these characters. I don't, and you're kind of with me, right? We don't necessarily watch modern wrestling as much.
Not as much.
So this is a challenge.
if there's anything modern that I do track, it's more AEW modern. But we're watching all. If you're new, we watch all WCW, all Raw starting from '97. So we got a lot of backlog.
Yeah. So I apologize if I mess up some of these names or if I don't know the storyline behind some of these characters. And we will try to grade them as fairly as possible. Tags to Kairi Sane. It's really, really... I just put this really awkward without a crowd. I'm sure everybody knows that, but I'm just going to put this here as a note. Nikki, and that's the last I will ever mention it, maybe. Nikki hits a drop kick and then does the worst forearms I've ever seen. Alexa and Nikki do dives to the outside. They go back into the ring, then go right back out and fight on the outside. This time, Asuka and Kairi Sane kind of earn more control. Kabuki Warriors single out Nikki, and they do some cool double team moves. Alexa Bliss tags in and beats on Kairi Sane. Asuka is yelling the entire match, which is awesome. It's like...
Yeah, pure Japanese.
Yeah. She's terrifying, and it's freaking great.
She knows some English. Not as much as Nakamura, but she knows some. She knows what she's saying.
Kairi does a top rope stomp to Bliss's face.
Mm-hmm.
Asuka beats on Alexa for a while. Nikki Cross does a hot tag and yells, and Michael Cole delivers the funniest line I've ever heard in the 20-something years I've been watching.
Yeah.
Nikki Cross just screams, and Michael Cole goes, "To each her own." Just move on. I've never heard Michael Cole say anything funny, and that was amazing. I was just laughing out loud. Nikki hits a really cool netbreaker DDT kind of move. I'm sure that's her finisher. Kairi breaks it up. Asuka hits the Asuka lock. Alexa Bliss hits the Twisted Bliss to break it up. Nikki kicks out of a powerbomb punch combo that nobody seems to understand how gravity works. And then neckbreaker. Alexa hits the Twisted Bliss on Kairi Sane, and they win.
You know that powerbomb combo is the Doomsday device.
It is total. Oh my god! I heard them say that on commentary. I just wanted to puke.
It doesn't look like it entirely. It's a modified doomsday device.
Yeah, he goes modified doomsday device. I said LOD is rolling in their graves. I'm sure they're in.
Just
One of them is dead. But yeah, it's like, oh my god, not even close. Come on.
They should have flipped. She should have flipped.
Yeah, if they'd hit the flip, that'd been freaking cool. But
that'd been awesome.
What did you think about this match?
I gotta be honest. I am more about the Kabuki Warriors than I am about Alexa and Nikki. More specifically, Kairi Sane has a very good flying elbow. It's amazing. The way she throws her legs up in the air and comes down. Like, there's a bunch of GIFs about it too. I fell in love with that elbow drop. It's the best elbow drop I've ever seen. Macho Man has a very statuesque elbow drop, right? Like, he just freezes in the air.
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing. Like, perfect form every time, right? But she does, like, like SSX Tricky. She does the SSX Tricky version of an elbow drop. And if you ever see it, like, she gears up and she jumps and then her legs go in the air higher than her head. And then she brings the elbow down. It's crazy. I love it.
And this was the night of elbow drops, or I guess the night of elbow drops. So that's impressive.
We'll get some more as the time. But overall, are we? Do you want to rate each match?
What do you think? I think a lot of people do that with modern wrestling, right?
What are we doing? Out of 5 or out of 10?
Let's do. What do you think? You tell me.
Probably a 5.
5. Okay, let's do it out of 5 then.
I'd probably give this one like a 2.5.
Okay.
I was okay with it. I'm more about the Kabuki Warriors than I am. I don't think Nikki is all that polished yet. I think this was like her first WrestleMania.
I think so.
So, like, with time, she should get there. Like, I like some of the stuff. Like, she's slapping her chest and, like, taking her freaking vest off. Like, she's getting pumped up. Like, that's cool. But, like, Alexa has been here before.
Yeah.
There's a couple times where I'm like, a little bit slow, right? And we'll see as time goes on. When we get to some of the other matches, like the Rhea Ripley and Charlotte match, like, things come a little bit more organically. So, I mean, I guess that's not fair comparing a tag match to a singles, but still.
Yeah, I'll give it to avoid doing decimals because I'm scared of that after our IGN discussion.
9.8, 8.9.
I'll give it a 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Next we have Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Nakamura promo. Sami Zayn is the IC champion. He beat Braun Strowman for, well, it's a 3-on-1, let's be honest. And then he's talking about how he's the best. He's saying he's going to keep the belt against Daniel Bryan. He's not even worried about it. It's going to stay that way. Whatever. Next match we actually have, though, is King Corbin versus Elias. This is a fucking match.
Oh my God.
I got to be honest. Okay, so I like King Corbin in the sense of the heel mentality, but I think he's starting to get boring to me. He's playing it up a little bit too much. Because, like, when we saw him live, like, I was just like,
yeah,
I don't really care. And then Elias reminds me of the 80s style wrestler where it's just one gimmick. Like,
yeah.
He's got to reinvent himself, and I don't think he's going to be able to, which is unfortunate. Anyway, going into the match, we've got King Corbin immediately getting on the mic as he makes his entrance. Thank God the entrances are all quick. Thank God.
Yeah.
Comes out and he goes, hey, you know what? I freaking Lion King'd Elias last week, so he's got a forfeit due to not being here. He's nowhere to be found, right? Pretty much like kicked him off. I think he actually did hurt himself. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe some dirt sheet somewhere saying like, oh, he really did. Elias comes out, and I think it's funny because his whole music doesn't even play. It's just the guitar, like, ding, and then like he's there, like he's like a secret in a video game. Like, ding, and comes out. He's got his guitar with him. He slams it on King Corbin because the bell didn't ring. Technically, the match hasn't started,
right.
So it's not a DQ. So I'm okay with that because I wish they would sort of flirt with that a little more, but whatever. It was cool to see. Elias has really an early advantage here. King Corbin throws Elias out of the ring, sort of regroups himself, gets back in there. And it's really funny to see the ref go back and forth with King Corbin. I think one of the biggest advantages, and we'll talk about this on night 2, or I will anyway, I like hearing the wrestlers talk more because their personalities really stand out. Yeah. This is a lot of ad-lib. So like King Corbin's like, "Are you sure you can count?" Like kind of shit.
Yeah.
And the ref's like, "Hey, you worry about yourself. I'll worry about me." And I'm just like, okay, all right, they feisty. Elias gets back up, hits a mule kick on King Corbin. Elias ends up working King Corbin in the corner. And he kicks King Corbin super hard. He hits him in the face like really hard. Or at least it looked really hard. I was like, that's a really good sell, or damn it, that's a trip to the dentist.
Yeah.
He misses a top rope maneuver. King Corbin regroups. Elias hits a jumping knee. You see a lot of the clapping of the quads and with this like quiet sort of setup. So
yeah, the echo.
Yeah, it is what it is. While King Corbin's distracted, arguing with the ref, who's his real enemy, Elias hits the most devastating move in all of wrestling or sports entertainment, and gets a roll up and pins King Corbin. Elias wins. This match was for nothing. I give it like 1 star.
1 star as well.
I don't really care for it.
King Corbin is a very good heel.
Yeah.
But the point of a heel is to get the babyface over. And I just don't think Elias is up to that task.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because, like, he's all about the company, But he's not necessarily all about reinventing himself. Like, he could take some lessons from like Matt Hardy or Jericho or something like that to really like regroup, create something new. Just doesn't have it right now.
Yeah, I just wrote, I've seen a few Corbin matches, and it's every Corbin match I've ever seen. And I don't blame him for that because he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. It's just Elias, boring.
You know what this made me realize?
Huh.
I miss Roman Reigns because we didn't see him at all. I didn't get no tangent.
He was in that really awkward pirate promo, and then never showed up for the actual show.
Why?
I don't know. Next up, the man shows up in a semi truck, honks awkwardly, walks also awkwardly. Again, this is so weird.
That's what I put too. That's what I put. awkwardly walks, really quiet, honks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Shayna Baszler just won the Elimination Chamber match. I actually watched that.
Dude, right?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. She's really
she
ugly.
Destroys everybody.
It's so stupid. They make her they have this scary looking woman, and then they make her talk, and she's like, "All right, Becky Lynch, I'm sick of you thinking you're so tough." Come on,
like, just like your eyeliner.
Yeah. Part of me, like, that kind of stuff's like, okay, I know that, like, when we're watching in the mid 90s,
mm-hmm.
especially WCW because they have older stars,
like
they go, "You know what? Something, I'm gonna take you out, Becky Lynch." But come on, like, I know that's ridiculous, but Shayna, if anybody should be talking like that, it's Shayna Baszler. She should not be talking like a Valley girl that just got her hair pulled. Either way, she is terrifying though. But yeah, she's got a good look for it, but she should sound tougher. They start brawling. Lynch breaks out of a clutch. They call it something that sounds like California.
Karafuda.
Karafuda. There you go. And that's an MMA move, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. Karafuda clutch. Lynch hits a Hurricane Rana outside of the ring. And then a drop kick when they get back in. Shayna Baszler hits a knee strike to stop the offense. And they do some counters to each other's submissions. It's really just a story about who's going to hit that submission. Shayna Baszler hits a cutter for a 2 count.
Yeah.
They fight on the apron. Becky hits a rock bottom on that apron. I don't know if you knew this, but that's the hardest part of the ring.
Yeah, it's once per show. They always have to point it out. It's just ridiculous.
They did this a couple more times for the show.
Wrestlemania.
I'll make sure to remind you.
Hmm.
Baszler does a power bomb to an armbar, which was pretty awesome. Turns it into a disarmor, and then hits a knee. Baszler beats her up on the outside of the ring, puts her back in the ring, hits that Karafuda clutch. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
Karafuda clutch. But Becky rolls over and turns it into a pin for 3.
Controversial. What's your opinion on that?
I liked it. This is a good match. Shayna Baszler looked terrifying. Did that weird thing where she grabs you by the legs and like slams your head into something.
Oh, dude, yeah, when
Did
she's
that on
picking
the
her up
outside.
because she did that to I forget her name, but that's wifey, and destroyed her. She was screeching too.
Yeah.
Like, the elimination chamber. She's like,
Yeah.
ah! I was like, fuck. Even the crowd's like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
call the police.
No, I liked it. One thing about this show that I've seen more than most modern shows is it was very physical. Like they did the way that they did a lot of these matches, they didn't seem as smooth and crisp.
Yeah.
They made sure that they looked like they were actually like two people in a fight. So sometimes the moves didn't look as clean. Sometimes they like punch each other out of different moves, and this was like the beginning of that for me. I liked it a lot. I would give it a 3 out of 5.
You know what? I'm upset because I expected Shayna to win, but not because it's like you called her up for NXT for nothing. Is what upsets me. You made
What
her
if
into
they called her
this
up to give her a WrestleMania match?
So what a lot of people are talking is that Ronda signed up again because
Okay.
they showed some stuff for her, and it might be Ronda rematching against Becky, taking the belt, and then Becky having to fight Baszler again, or Ronda fighting Shayna, which would be an interesting match.
Yeah.
Because Ronda's got more of she has a sumo style, so she's all about tossing people, if I remember correctly. And Baszler's just pure, holds and things like that. So we'll see how that turns out into wrestling. But I think they could go the mile. Like, apparently they've been partners before. But if I'm giving my honest opinion, I'd probably give it 2 stars just because I don't like... If I have to look up something on the internet to be a potential reason as to why this loss happened and it's not organic, I don't like it.
Hmm.
And with the buildup of this, you made her look so strong, and then there's nothing. Becky just lays out 2 MMA people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would be curious to see what they do with that because there could be a story here. And
There
I guess
could
we'll
be.
see tomorrow. Well, I won't.
Yeah.
but we'll see. Well, the universe will hear tomorrow what happens.
Yeah, the WWE Universe. Next match, we get Daniel Bryan with Drew Gulak versus Sami Zayn with Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. Keep in mind, Drew Gulak, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro are all just there to spectate. Really, they're the clique, sort of. Daniel Bryan comes out first. We get some yes chants from Gronkowski and what's his name?
Mojo Rawley, right?
Mojo Rawley, yeah. And there's a couple yeses. They need an audience for it, so it works out. They get some yeses. Sami Zayn comes out with his squad, and at first, being really confident, isn't even getting in the ring. It's like 5 times that he was homed out to 10. I was legitimate stuff. Get in the fucking... Like, they're doing this whole, like, run around thing, and then Cesaro stops Daniel Bryan, and he runs around again, and then Shinsuke stops him, and then I'm just like, oh my fucking God, like, just get into a match and fight. And then, thank God, Drew Gulak just gets props because he just goes, fuck it, I'm clotheslining both these guys, and clotheslines them over the fucking barricade, and they're both out. And Gulak's like, fucking fight him, dude. Just get it over with. Thank God. Okay. Finally get in the ring. I want to point out that Daniel Bryan, like, I don't have too many notes for this because Daniel Bryan pretty much destroys Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
He hits a suicide dive, which is hilarious because he gets too much air and actually almost goes over the barricade. I was like, what the fuck, dude? He hits the barricade himself. Sami Zayn gets slapped twice, then kicked in the face. Daniel Bryan is dissing Sami Zayn, telling him that Drew Gulak is actually a somebody. Stop telling him he's a nobody. whatnot, which again goes back to the fact I like being able to hear what they say. There's certain wrestlers I think should always be mic'd up. There's certain ones. In fact, in our next match, I think there's certain wrestlers that should always be mic'd up.
Wait, in the next match?
In the next
match. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. And then Sami Zayn regroups, gets a couple of hits in on Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan immediately gets control again, and it's just like, what the fuck is the point of Sami Zayn even being in the match? He does. I don't know his move, but he does the multiple kicks to him to his chest while he's kneeling, and then hits him in the face. And then Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro come out of nowhere, and they rush Drew Gulak. Daniel Bryan jumps over the ropes, I think, takes them both out, comes back in, and then Sami Zayn hits a haluva kick on Daniel Bryan when I believe he's on the top rope. Is it sort of like a Claymore kick?
To me, it's just a super kick. I don't really notice the difference.
Yeah, whatever. He on the ground, or like more lean. I don't know. Wrestlers too much. Apologies, but he gets in, and Daniel Bryan loses. Sami Zayn retains his IC champion.
It gets a 1 from me.
It gets a 1 from me. I think I've heard, again, we don't follow these guys too much. I've heard Sami Zayn's actually a better wrestler than that.
He is. I've seen some of his matches. He's good.
So what's going on? I don't know if there's injuries or if there's a level of greenness.
You got two phenomenal workers in there, and they fucking wasted it.
I mean, there's a lot of Cesaro's a good wrestler, and so is Shinsuke Nakamura. And I would have rather either one of them wrestle Daniel Bryan.
Like the match would be better, yeah.
The match would be better. I mean, you've probably already seen it with Shinsuke, and you've probably already seen it with Cesaro, but at the same time, the right story can reintroduce any match, you know. You can only have Triple H or John Cena versus the same wrestlers times.
Yeah.
Board. So, but Daniel Bryan's one of the few good guys. He's trying to bring up certain people. Maybe he's trying to bring up Sami Zayn. Whatever.
Yeah. Next we get a triple threat ladder match. Kofi Kingston versus Jimmy Uso versus John Morrison. This is for, oddly, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I guess a bunch of people couldn't make it, so
there was one, like only one. That was The Miz. Yeah. He was sick. They said he was injured before this match, but he was like, black, and they're like, "You're out, done. Get the fuck out of here." So we've got a singles match for or a 3-way triple threat. Sorry.
Yeah. This one, wow, I just hit puberty. This one, there more happened than what the notes I've taken here, but it's too chaotic to take notes on for me.
Was it a bad chaotic or good chaotic, would you say?
I mean, the chaotic that it should have been was good. I didn't love this match. So there's 3 ladders immediately. There's an awesome thumb poke moment by John Morrison. He's like messing around behind the ladder and kind of gets like not hit by the ladder, and so he just pokes him in the eye. I think it was Jimmy Uso. It was very funny.
Yeah, Jimmy's in there. Yeah.
John Morrison does a cool flip onto Jimmy Uso on a ladder, and I'm doing all these like abbreviations, so if I'm trying to look like I'm reading hieroglyphics.
It's a spinning moonsault. No, I'm kidding.
Dude, it was is that Starship Pain basically, essentially?
I guess, but we'll see him in 2006 or 5 or whenever he shows up.
Yeah.
We've got time.
Dude, that's so cool, though.
Yeah. Very athletic, even despite his age.
Dude, that guy's body is fucking out of this world.
Good job, man.
God damn it. Kofi throws a ladder at Jimmy Uso, and Jimmy Uso's doing like a Jeff Hardy kind of run on the barricade. Kofi places Jimmy Uso on a ladder bridge for no reason. Morrison does a top rope walk, which is pretty impressive. Yeah. And then John Morrison hits the Spanish fly. Spanish fly on Kofi. I couldn't tell who got hurt by that, but the replay showed it.
I'm happy you agree.
Yeah. It looks like they both probably got hurt. I don't know.
Does it look beautiful? Yes. But do I know the point? No.
That's one of those moves that totally exposes the business. It's just like, this is impossible to hit. And then if you do hit it, Yeah, if you do hit it, who are you hurting? Nobody. Well, yourself, I guess. I don't know. It was a goofy move, but it looked cool. Uso hits a splash. Jimmy Uso hits. This is what I think you meant by the mic. Jimmy Uso hits Kofi Kingston in the face with a ladder, and then just shouts, "Flatten your face like a pancake, boy!"
It was that, and then it was also Kofi that was like always like, "It's not your day today, is it?" So I was like, "Shut up, Kofi! You're not supposed to be a heel."
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you sound like an ass. It was great. I loved it.
All three of them fight on the two ladders, and then all three end up holding the titles. They do a headbutt, like a double headbutt, I think, to Morrison, or somebody headbutts him, and he drops, but he's holding the titles, so he falls with them for your win. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, obviously it's a spot fest. This isn't like a. It's hard to grade these. But I was kind of bored.
Really?
With this match. I'm stuck between a 2 or 3 because there's cool stuff in it. You just got to sift through. I'm gonna say 3. I'll say 3. They worked hard and it shows.
Yeah, I give it a 3 point. Well,
when I think of it, like a lot of the fun of these matches comes from the crowd hyping it up. It's
that's
like,
true.
Oh shit, he's on top of the ladder. Oh my god! Instead, it's just he's on top of the ladder.
That's true.
He jumped off.
He landed.
It's hard to say. Yeah, go ahead.
Someone's hurt. Spanish fly.
Oh, I have a comment about this, but I'll wait till you're done. This isn't necessarily this match. But go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'd give it 3.5 because I think John Morrison and Kofi Kingston outperformed Jimmy, and I feel bad for Jimmy because I think he's a good wrestler, but it's like the element. It's a spot fest thing. Kofi and Jim Morrison were all about doing like really acrobatic spots, and really pushing the excitement. But I also give Jimmy credit because he was also verbal in there, and I feel like when you had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross and really just them, it felt weird for them to talk. For Asuka to talk, it was just like, dude, she does that all the fucking time. Like, of course she's gonna screech at the top of her lungs, and then like you hear like other like wrestlers slowly like talking whatever, but like John Morrison didn't say shit. It was mainly Kofi and Jimmy Uso, and I'm like, you know what, that's okay because they're trying to bring some life into it. It's not just the moves that you do; it's also what you're saying. So I'll give him credit there. So yeah, 3.5 in my opinion. It actually woke me up because I was bored out of my mind on the Daniel Bryan match because I was just what the fuck? Keep kicking his ass, why don't you? So whatever. It is what it is.
Can I just pause and say the commentary, modern commentary is so shit.
Really?
I absolutely hated all of it.
They weren't doing a lot of getting a lot of the names right.
They weren't.
Or they weren't. They weren't calling them out, I should say.
Yeah, the move. There, I think there's less of a focus on moves because it's supposed to be sports entertainment. They're just like the nice slam, and I heard them. I heard them name a lot of moves incorrectly. Boston Crab.
For Charlotte.
Yes, that was I guess they can't call it the Walls of Jericho for obvious reasons, but
Walls of Charlotte.
It's like a standing crab.
You don't want to say that.
But anyway, commentary for me ruined a lot of these matches because they should have picked up the slack. Like I'm thinking, we're watching, they're like screaming, having a crazy good time, making jokes.
My God, he's ripped in half. Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like, wow, would you look at that?
Kofi
Night Kingston just jumped off of the ladder.
Night 2 was a little bit better with like dissing each other. I like that. But we'll talk about it.
I never thought I'd say this, but thank God for JBL.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, Michael Cole had his moment. Time for JBL. Next match we get Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. He's trying to burn it down, the little arson. I just want to point out this angle for Seth Rollins like 10 years ago would not have worked. People would be shitting on him because he's calling him the Monday Night Messiah, and he has a very Jesus look to him.
They would have been shitting on this? Why?
because it'd be like, oh, you're calling yourself the Lord. Like more traditionalist back then.
Oh, okay.
And they'd be like upset about like, oh my God, that's not my Jesus or whatever.
Gotcha.
Who cares? I don't care now. I actually think it's funny that he's losing his fucking mind. Anyway, they both get to the ring. Seth Rollins gets a quick cheap shot in on Kevin Owens, who begins an offense that slowly degrades because he gets double senton bombed, which is hilarious.
Kevin Owens is a big boy.
I want to point out Kevin Owens is also one of those guys that needs to be mic'd up.
Yes.
He doesn't give a shit, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Kevin Owens is tossing Seth Rollins all over the place. Seth Rollins reverses a pile driver and flips Kevin Owens onto an apron, the hardest part of the ring. Definitely painful. Seth Rollins is able to regroup, refocus, and get back in there. He hits a Falcon Arrow onto the apron as well.
Dude, that CrossFit, man.
Right, those snatch squats really get it up there. That beast, those Olympic lifts and whatnot. He starts to taunt. Seth Rollins taunts Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins hits a suicide dive from that point. I just want to point out it's hilarious to hear Seth Rollins yell or to like cry in pain. One for one. It is 100% it. It's hilarious. I love hearing it because he's just like, it sounds like his nose is forever clogged. Like, it's hilarious. Love it.
Okay, weird thing. To Seth Rollins, maybe you've never had one, but to me, Seth Rollins constantly just reminds me of my dorky cousin. Like a dorky cousin.
That turned into a wrestling.
Yeah, that somehow has got like a hard body now and is like wrestling, but he's still a dorky cousin. He's such a dork.
Oh man, it's hilarious. Kevin Owens dodges a curb stomp, hits a really solid DDT. That was powerful, actually.
Yeah.
And then I think I put that in wrong. I said hits a DDT followed by a DDT. So I forget what it was followed by, but he hits a cannonball followed by senton bomb. He had a really strong offense at this point. He was doing a lot of spots just to layer him in. And then Seth Rollins gets up from that. He gets double super kicked. He super kicks him twice. Seth Rollins does. And then he hits the, was it the up top powerbomb?
Up top? You mean the buckle bomb?
No, they called it something else. I think it's Kevin Owens' like special move.
Oh, the pop-up powerbomb.
Thank you, pop-up powerbomb. And then like that's a pretty hard slam, to be honest.
Yeah.
They both make their way outside the ring, and Seth Rollins is like, "Bitch, I ain't gonna win this shit." He hits Kevin Owens with the bell to disqualify himself purposely.
Yeah.
And the ref's like, "Fine, fuck it, you're disqualified." And Kevin Owens gets on the mic, calls Seth Rollins a bitch. It says, get back in the match, pretty much.
Yeah.
Is the best way to put it. No DQ. Let's finish this thing. And then Seth Rollins is like, his ego's getting him, so he's like, fuck it. So he gets back in there and goes, gets back in there. Kevin Owens is getting whooped for pretty large portion of this when he gets back in. Gets hit with the stairs, then a chair. During the time, I love it because like Kevin Owens is reaching for his leg. And he's like, "Don't touch me!" Like, stop touching me. Then Kevin Owens is like, "You're a bitch. You're always gonna be a bitch." Oh,
Kevin Owens is freaking awesome.
He's great. Kevin Owens retaliates with the ring bell, and then drops or puts Seth Rollins onto the announcer table and does a really, in front of nobody, really scary spot where he jumps off the WrestleMania sign and hits an elbow or whatever onto Seth Rollins. And
his elbow looked like it hitting Seth Rollins was consequential to him falling through a table. It didn't look like it hurt Seth Rollins at all.
That's the wrestler mindset.
Yeah.
And then you can hear Seth Rollins go, oh man. Kevin Owens brings Seth Rollins back in the ring, hits a stunner on him just for garnish, really. And the dish is done. Kevin Owens wins. I'd give this match probably 4,
I'm giving
just
4.
because I just liked the. They're both good performers, regardless of what anyone says about Seth Rollins. He is a good performer.
Yeah.
He's got a funny voice. But Kevin Owens being able to talk his smack, and I love the fact that no one really said fuck except for Edge. But,
right.
but outside of that, like he was, hey, say what you want. This is your time, and he was like, oh hell yeah.
I think the word bitch is like the go-to word in WWE right now. Like every promo had that in it.
There was a couple of shits.
Were there? Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah, this is the good shit. I think you know what that was instead, but we'll get there. I'll hit this and then you get the next match.
Okay.
We got Gronk and Raleigh sort of like promo. They're just talking about, man, so happy to be here. And then R-Truth shows up. R-Truth, love that man. Forgotten legend, because he's so hilarious to me, because he's so. I think I fell in love when he did the thing where he comes out on the stage and he's like, it's me and you, Kane. And Kane's like, you're not even in the match. He's like, I'm not. My bad. Like everyone else is laughing. Anyway, he comes out and he's like, yeah, I'm the 24/7 champion. Can I duck down here? Gronk does the weakest, I don't know what, elbow, forearm, like wrist attack to R-Truth. He hits the ground, and then Gronk goes to pin him. Mojo Rawley pushes him out of the way and pins him himself. And he's like, yeah, I'm the champion. And Gronk is a little upset. His vibes are killed.
I didn't see this. I was in the bathroom. And I came back, and I just saw Mojo Rawley cheering because he had the belt. And I said to my girlfriend, I said, he won it? And she said, yeah. And I said, whatever.
Whatever. Oh, man.
We got a Paul Heyman promo. Drew should be afraid. He's a big bitch wannabe. Can't fill the shoes of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is not of our species. So
yeah, he's a super being, he said. I was like, superhuman?
Yeah.
Just anything?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you better look out, Drew. Yeah, and he did. So Braun Strowman versus Goldberg for the Universal Championship. Complain all you want, man. This is the only thing they could have done. Goldberg counters a power slam into a spear. I think he hits 4 spears. 3 or 4. God. And then Braun counters the jackhammer that we knew would never happen with the 3 power slams. 1 more. I think he does 4. And then Braun wins. This is very short, very shitty. I give it 2 stars. I
give it 0 stars. This is my worst match of any WrestleMania period.
Really?
I will stand by that, because there's Undertaker versus Gorilla, that fucking
Gorilla Monsoon. No, Undertaker versus I know who you're talking about.
Ape Escape.
Ape Escape, sure.
I want to point out that Bradshaw goes, don't blink. None of these guys work by the hour.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, God. He's called it like he sees it. You probably had a little bit. I was like, hey, that's okay, man. You want
me to do the next one? All right. This is one of a couple very, very, very weird matches. Yeah. Kind of reminded me of WCW in 1999. You'll understand why. AJ Styles versus The Undertaker in a Boneyard match. But this is like a cinematic match. This is not like a in-ring match. Or a match in general. The purpose, I guess, is to bury the person in the grave. It's like a buried alive match.
Yeah.
But it's outside in an actual cemetery. AJ Styles shows up in the cemetery, and he's being cocky. Taker shows up on a chopper. By the way, all the music is done by Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
That, just by me saying the music, will let you know this is a very, very weird match. Taker punches through a window. He's beating him up. He ends up punching through a window, cuts his arm on it. Does some more punishment. AJ throws dirt in Taker's eyes and then kicks him in the balls. But Taker takes back control, punches AJ into the grave. Gallows and Anderson appear, and behind them are a bunch of hooded figures, which they don't do anything. They just get punched by The Undertaker.
Yeah.
But I guess they're a big enough distraction that Gallows and Anderson are able to beat on him for a little bit. AJ Styles cracks him with something. I didn't quite catch what it was.
It's a tombstone.
Was it a tombstone? Okay.
Yeah. They were being funny. He's like, just takes one, breaks it over his head. Whatever.
Old Grandma Polly lost her tombstone that night.
God damn it.
At some point, AJ breaks his finger and yells at Taker for it. I don't see how. Maybe just punching him too hard.
I put probably can't punch right if he broke one of his fingers. I think it was ring finger while punching him. It's like you can't punch right. That's gotta be it.
Yeah. AJ tackles him through a wooden wall, and they beat him up, and he beats him up and taunts him a little bit. AJ breaks a shovel over his back, and Taker then falls into the grave. And then AJ Styles gets on the tractor and revs it up. It's going. He's going to dump that sand all over him, but the lights behind him show up, and Taker has teleported behind him and beats him up. AJ runs away and runs up onto the roof. There's a big fire thing blocking him, which I did not understand that. I guess it happened and then it just stopped. I thought Kane was gonna show up. I was like, "Fuck, that's awesome." Didn't happen.
Well, I mean, he fire. Undertaker.
Oh, okay.
He raised his hand. Fire. Yeah.
Really, really weird. Yeah. They all fight. Gallows and Anderson are fighting, but he beats them up. Taker chokeslams AJ off the roof through a crate. That's freaking cool. Taker says, basically at this point, AJ Styles is beaten. Taker says he's not going to bury AJ Styles, and he congratulates him. Put up a good fight, man. But then turns and kicks him into the grave, and then buries him with the tractor. And then he uncovers the tombstone. It says AJ Styles on it. And then you see AJ's little hand poking out of the sand. It's clearly not his hand. It's a baby, like a little baby hand. It looks so weird. Yeah, but it is supposed to be his hand. And that is the match. Taker drives off into the sunset. Well, into the night. That's a weird match.
That is weird.
God.
I just want to point out one thing. So I watched that match actually, and in rewatching the match, I think what happened was he was fighting American Badass Undertaker until he knocked him into the grave, and then he turned into his true Undertaker. He teleported behind him, and he was using the fire and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's like. She's like, how are you still standing? And he's like, what's wrong, AJ? It's just like, oh, I get it. He's like undefeatable, whatever. The other thing I want to point out, two things actually, is AJ is not brawler. So I'll just give you a heads up. Gave this thing like 0 stars. I was like, I don't
0 stars.
This. I did not like whatever. I thought it was incredibly stupid. Because they even framed it at 20 frames per second, like it's a movie.
Yeah.
See, fuck it. What ended up happening was I thought I rewatched why. The other thing I thought about was in the ring, any of his obviously he can't do the phenomenal forearm. He can't do the fucking what's it called? Michelle McCool's maneuver. He can't do any of that right here. So it's just like, okay, fine. I get it. It's
You're talking about the Styles Clash.
Thank you. Styles Clash. He can't do any of that shit. So it's just like, all right, whatever. It is what it is. I think there's going to be a rematch, and I think there's going to be a true retirement. So I give it 2 stars.
I give it 4 stars.
Yeah. Match.
It's not really a match. I don't think Taker can have a real match. Like, especially with AJ Styles. Jesus. That's going to look like shit.
He's gonna be flipping, and he's like 43. He's gonna be flipping all around you.
Yeah. I liked that they were able to do all this cool stuff. And it's still, I mean, it was goofy. But it brings back, like, okay, the Matt Hardy stuff from forever ago. Like, if you think that that's bad, and in a way it is, like, almost intentionally, maybe intentionally.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was very memorable, had some cool stuff in it, but still seemed like a fight. I give it 4 stars.
It's just a brawl. I feel like put Stone Cold in instead, and then I guess that was a match.
AJ makes a very awesome villain. Just in his character, yeah, he's not like when he's actually fighting, it's kind of goofy because it's not really his thing.
He's not gonna slug you.
Yeah. But as a jerk, like if this was in a movie, he plays the part well.
Yeah.
I just hope they don't do that a lot. Let's just say that. I liked it. It should be a one-off thing, and I think WrestleMania is probably the right time to do it. So.
Yeah.
All right, we're at night 2.
Night 2, we've got Rhea Ripley coming from NXT. From it. Everyone comes from it nowadays. It's just birthing out all these superstars.
Yeah.
How do I start this? Charlotte Flair taunting Rhea Ripley incredibly early. She's like, "This is your NXT champion." Rhea Ripley Charlotte Flair with
Riptide.
And gets a followed by Rhea Ripley gets an advantage. She gets a suplex with the 2 count. Charlotte Flair attacks Ripley's left leg. She does this like weird, which doesn't make sense. Just normally that's overextending, is what we call that. So she kicks and her leg hangs over the top rope. And then Charlotte's like, "I need this," and then yanks on that shit. And then next thing you know, we've got it. Ripley's selling like crazy. Rhea Ripley slapped by Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair does not let up on the left leg. Rhea Ripley gets, I believe it's like a sort of a face buster to try and build momentum. Hits the basement drop kick on Charlotte. She gets a series of clotheslines in, Rhea. She gets another face buster, gets a 2 count, not sticking. Charlotte Flair keeps getting back up. She hits a standing overleaf, gets out of and goes for a Walls of Jericho.
Yeah.
At that point, down to try and get just a quick at this point. If I'm looking from a standpoint, desperation's kicking in. So she's like, "I need to fucking get a pin." Really kicks Charlotte Flair in the face at that point. Rhea Ripley also counters a moonsault that Charlotte Flair does, which actually looked pretty nice, into a heel kick. Well, I mean, she raised her leg. I'll just say heel kick. And Charlotte Flair immediately spears Ripley. Charlotte Flair for the figure 4 and then does the figure, I believe, 8.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley fights back a little bit, sort of slapping, but she can't get it. They're in the middle of the ring. She's not getting anywhere. She pins or she taps, and that's it. There is your NXT champion, which is like the weirdest thing for me. That's like being a Super Bowl champion and then being like, "I need to go for the regional like championship. Like I need to go to the playoffs." Why? Who cares? Whatever. It happened. I give this one 3 out of 5. It told a good story. I wish Rhea won personally. But at the same time, I did like Charlotte Flair is pretty solid, all things considered. She's pretty good, and she's doing some good smack talk too. Again, that's why I like that the audience isn't there. I can hear them.
Yeah.
Rhea was just screaming, but Charlotte was just like, "You like that? Yeah, all right." And I was, "Damn, okay, slow down, calm down."
I give it 4. I like this one a lot. This is probably might have been my favorite match of all of it. I'm a Charlotte Flair fan. I think she's awesome. I think she's the best women's wrestler right now. Asuka maybe being a second. I'm not sure, but there's a couple good ones. But yeah, Charlotte's my top. Yeah, she's freaking awesome. That figure 8 is so cool. I don't even know if that makes it hurt more. Like I don't quite understand.
I doubt it.
I'm trying to think of the leverage
She's just
here.
like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I do something else now.
Yeah, it just looks freaking cool, and I like that she's like bent over backwards, but like screaming the whole time. That's freaking awesome.
And Rick is just wooing in the background.
Yeah. I'm just mad that you got to do this one. I have to do the next one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, man.
No, this is a great match. I liked it.
Have at it.
Next we get Aleister Black versus Bobbly Lashley.
Bobbly?
A little bit of the Bobbly. Lashley uses strength to dominate early. Black uses speed on the outside. Lashley hits a really awesome belly to belly. Lashley controls in the ring. Black counters a stalling suplex with knees, which is kind of cool. Gets hit with a power slam. Black intercepts a spear with his knee. Hits a moonsault to the outside, which is what he was trying earlier. Lashley controls in ring again, and Lana's on the steps shouting instructions. Black counters the spear with a black mass. 3. This is a 2-star match.
I will say Bobby's got some swagger to him, because when Lana's like, "Get the pin," he looks at her, he's like, "Thanks, baby." He like winks at her and stuff. I was like, "Oh my god."
I got sick of the wink by the 8th time he did it.
Really? I thought he only did it twice. I thought to me, I give it to you.
He's got a freaking awesome body though. Jesus.
Great body. And
right.
He's like 30s, 40s. This one.
Guy's out of control.
Yeah, it's sort of crazy. You gotta suspect. You gotta ask some questions. Probably give it like a 2.
Yeah,
myself. Aleister Black, I think, deserves more, but from what I hear, this was just made up on the fly.
Right, you could tell. Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do. We get just rapid fire these. We get a quick promo from Bayley with Sasha Banks. There's not going to be a wedge. Banks. Sasha Banks goes, "You have to wait and see if I actually want the belt," to the I forget her name, the interviewer, and then she leaves.
Hopefully they left back to promo school, because Jesus, that sucked from both of them.
Was that bad? Really?
I thought that was the worst promo I've seen in a long time.
I kind of was. Imagine. I was wrapping something up. Quick Gronk promo. He's betrayed by Raw. He goes, "Win by end of the tonight." It's like, okay, all right. This is recorded. You could have fixed that, but whatever.
Dude, I was thinking that too. I was like, this ain't live. Fix that shit. Jeez.
There's a lot of shit that it's okay. It happens. Next versus Dolph Ziggler with Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville is New Bay, by the way. Just pointed out. Rhea Ripley's New Bay too. But Sonya Deville. Hey, want to point out this storyline? I can't believe is over. But at least it's not Bobby Lashley stealing Lana.
Yeah.
Oh God! Thank God for that. Pretty much quick recap. Otis. There's a lot of the biggest theme for this is misunderstanding. There's a hacker or something like that helps Otis to realize Sonya Deville is working with Dolph Ziggler to make Mandy Rose not go with Otis with Dolph. I don't know what Sonya Deville gets out of it, but obviously wants to crush Mandy Rose.
This might be one of those things where if you watch it normally, you'll understand more.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah. We were talking about that too. It's like, why would she do that? Like, That's just mean. Like, there's no real reason. Maybe
Hey,
there isn't.
wrestling.
Maybe there is in the story, and I'm not aware why she would do that.
Either way, we have Otis. He's pumped. Dolph Ziggler gets to the stage and he's like, "I'm," and then Otis comes out. He's like, just runs straight to the stage, and he's just like ready to go. I will want to I did point out, Dolph Ziggler hits a really strong super kick, and I don't know if it was sold super well, but I think he's good at selling. That might be, but he kicked back and everything, flipped back of his head, everything.
Yeah.
Come on, give me it back. Great sell. God damn. Camera, thank you. There's a drop, and he's just working Otis. Cole says to Bradshaw, because Bradshaw is just bashing Otis, and he's like, "You gotta be kidding me!"
Like, you know, shades of JR.
Yeah, he's like, "I can't believe someone even loves this person or even likes this person." And Michael Cole goes, "There's someone out there for everybody, even you, Brad." And Bradshaw responds with, "Hiring you was losing 5 good people," which is great. Sick of the punishment, he begins to hulk up. He's just tossing Dolph Ziggler all over the place, and he pretty much goes for the caterpillar at this point. Sonya Deville distracts the ref, and then Dolph Ziggler hits a really looking low blow. I know he hit the thigh, but that shit is just too close to home, man.
Yeah.
It hits him. He goes down at that point, and then you hear Mandy Rose's music, and she's pissed. She comes to the ring. The first thing she does is slap Sonya Deville, and ow, by the way, powerful. And then she low blow on Dolph Ziggler, and Bradshaw calls Otis an inebriated Taurus when he goes for his caterpillar, which is, it's actually the worm. It's not the caterpillar, but whatever.
Well, that's Scotty Too Hot. He does the worm. They can't have two characters doing the worm.
You got doing the diamond cutter. So,
and you got KO doing the stunner.
You got 5 people doing the spear. Let's just be honest. But anyway, either way, he hits the caterpillar on Dolph Ziggler. He gets the 3 count at that point, and then Mandy Rose, my man, hops into his lap. Did not expect this. They actually kiss. And that's, good for them. Happy ending. Angle's probably over with. That sucks. I'm going to give this match 1.5 stars.
Serious?
Two stars. 2. I like the story of it, but I just don't. Otis is cool. I just don't really care for his wrestling all that much. Like the Elimination Chamber, I didn't really care too much. He's more. It's sad that he doesn't get gassed like fucking name does. Goldberg does.
Yeah.
It's sad. But yeah, it wasn't really too crazy. Probably say 2.
Dude, I give us 4 stars.
Really?
Wasn't
what
long.
Got you?
Wasn't that long? It told an amazing story, and I don't know all the backstory, so I can't tell you all that. But he won. He got the girl in the end. They betrayed the heels. I thought it was great.
It was the only interference of all of. No. It wasn't. We'll get there.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. Otis is a character, man.
He's a character.
I feel
it
him.
Sucks because he's part of machinery, and I don't know the other guy's name, but he's not gonna over Otis is. And that sucks.
Yeah. I'm curious where it goes because I can't see them staying together very long, but still, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Definitely not a 5-star classic, but it was fun.
It rivals Shawn Michaels and Undertaker.
Yeah, not quite. Next, we get Edge versus Randy Orton in a last man standing match. Edge has been gone for 9 years, and he's come out of retirement. And his first match is going to be with second match, I guess, with Randy Orton. Randy Orton hit him with a concerto, has been kind of tormenting him for a while, and Edge is pissed off. Edge shows up to the ring. Randy Orton's music hits, but he's nowhere to be found. Oh, RKO out of nowhere. He's one of the cameramen.
I thought that was funny. It's just like, shoot. Whatever.
The match starts. Orton hits another RKO and gets a 9 count. Obviously, this last man standing match. You have to can't get to your feet to the count of 10 is how you lose the match. Orton hits Edge with a camera. That's a 7 count. They brawl backstage. Orton hits his face on Edge's face on a table. 5 count. Orton's just beating the shit out of Edge. Orton tangles.
For all of
What's that?
For all of
I did the counts for as many as I could.
Oh my god.
They brawl backstage. Orton tangles Edge in the ropes. Says he's always gonna love him. I can't remember what happens. Like he punches him or something. 6 count.
Yeah, he keeps watching.
Orton has a weight he's gonna hit Edge with, but Edge drop kicks him in the face. Edge smashes into. I put Norton. I think that might have been an autocorrect. Edge smashes into Orton from a hanging rack. Edge starts yelling. He yells 9 years, and then, but then Orton throws him into the wall. Orton tries to drive a sled into Edge. It's a little weight thing, but Edge dodges it. Edge chases Orton through a production area. Edge smashes Orton into a steel garage door for a 6 count. They're back to the main ring area. Don't worry, they won't be there very long. They fight on a stage, and then Orton throws him off the stage into a barricade for a 9 count. It's not as bad as it looks. Like it the way that they kind of set it up, it's going to be this amazing like drop, but it was probably like 4 feet. Anyway, back to the backstage area to an office with like a big long table. Edge smashes Orton into a picture frame for a 9 count. Edge puts Orton on the table and uses horizontal fencing to hit an elbow drop on Orton. It was a creative move that couldn't have hurt anybody that much except for maybe Edge for a 5 count.
Ow!
Also, who the hell designed that room? Why is there a fence going horizontally over a table?
That's a good point.
Oh my god.
You might be onto something.
Pay me some money, WWE. I'll help you decorate and not look like that. They fight in the hall. They knock over a cameraman. I think that might have been an excuse to give them more time to film the rest of the match. Because the cameraman is then seen chasing over to them while they're backstage in the storage facility where they hold all the WWE ring equipment. Orton's been holding his arm, by the way. Looks like he heard it somewhere. Orton throws the... Edge tries to grab some chairs, but Orton throws him away. I like that. He's like, nah. And then smashes Edge into the steel chairs.
Ed Norton.
Yeah. Full circle right there. For a 9 count. Edge climbs onto a small roof. Randy Orton's been placed on a table, and he elbow drops Orton through that table for an 8 count, although Orton actually gets up before Edge. Don't quite understand that.
Did you notice Randy Orton was coughing a lot?
I noticed the breathing, the heavy breathing. I didn't notice the coughing.
I was like, did he get tested?
Maybe
He's
Edge,
like,
maybe Edge elbow dropped coronavirus into him.
Corona drop.
After that, Orton's shoulder's bleeding. It doesn't look too bad. Well, I guess it kind of does look bad. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It's just trickling.
Hard
I didn't even know where the source was.
Yeah. They climb onto a pickup truck, and Orton hits an awesome-looking draping DDT on the truck. Another one of those moments. Wrestling moves outside of a wrestling ring. Just it makes me happy. Found a way to sneak that DDT into the regular match.
Fight in the streets. If I were in a real fight and someone charged me, I probably would DDT them. It's unrestricted, man. That's gonna hurt too.
Oh my god!
It's gonna leave someone dazed and confused.
That might kill him.
Might
on the asphalt.
Knock him out for sure.
Okay. Draping DDT on the truck for 6 count. Edge climbs on some boxes, climbs onto to an NXT semi truck, and Orton follows. It looks like he might be going for the punt, but Edge is already kind of more up than that. But Edge counters it with a spear for a 9 count. Edge tries another spear, but Orton counters it into an RKO for a 9 count. Orton pulls out 2 chairs. He gets off the truck, pulls out 2 chairs, brings them back up to the semi, and sets Edge up for a concerto. But Edge gets up before he can do it and hits some weird sleeper hold that I guess is his new move.
Oh, it's just a side choke.
Side choke.
Yeah, it's nothing fancy about it.
Apparently he's used it before in the one match he's had with MVP since he's been back.
Yeah. He used it on him. Yeah.
But he tells the ref to stop counting in the nicest terms I just used. I think he said, stop the fucking count or something like that.
Don't you fucking count.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Orton is now set up for the concerto, and after some deliberation, Edge does do the concerto on him. Orton's just sounding like he's dying, which is really powerful. And he is down for the 10 count. And Edge looks like he puts his head on Orton, like, ooh, kind of just checking up on him. Yeah. And the match is over. I give it a 4. I want to give it a 5, but honestly, the first half was kind of dragged.
I'd give it a 4. I felt it dragged him. I was like, when I was watching it, this was probably the match I was starting to get really tired at. Because I was just like, fuck. I mean, it started to pick up a little bit, but for the most part, like, both of them could have done what, because there's so much history, both of them could have done what Jimmy and Kofi were doing. Like, just talk more. Like, 9 years. Yes, 9 years. Keep going. You know?
Right.
I mean, granted, Randy Orton was doing it more. He was like, you get to go home to your girls now. You know, okay, cool. That's very ominous. Hit me with that shit. Just keep it up.
Yeah.
And you're only as good as the person that you're talking to. The only reason why I give credit to Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, or Kevin Owens, is because Seth Rollins was responding. It was because he's like, I am the Messiah. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd probably give it a 4. I wish to be honest, I wish it ended a little quicker.
Same. I'm happy with the whole ending sequence. Pretty much as soon as they get to the truck, maybe as soon as they dive off the thing. It's that the first backstage part was just like...
I'm going to hit you with this. I'm going to hit you with this.
Yeah.
Hit you with this. Yeah.
Like, I get why they did it. Because you have to make it look like they've been through a big war. But the first part of the war was really boring.
We get a quick Mojo Rawley versus everybody. He's getting just... I don't even know who these wrestlers are. They'll probably show up on like a What Culture video. Wrestlers you didn't know that became, you know, like really big. This guy was in the red shorts. You know, he's now the Universal Champion. You know, whatever. But they're all jumping on Mojo Rawley, and then Gronk for whatever reason jumps off, lands on everybody, so strong that he is able to pin Mojo Rawley, gets the belt, and then fucking books it out of there. Good for you.
I wish he did this at the beginning of the show, so that I couldn't have to hear from him. But then I would have gotten Titus O'Neil, who's equally as bad.
Really? I like Titus. he just slides in when you don't expect him to. Next match we have Austin Theory, who I thought was Finn Balor for a second.
Oh, he does look like Finn Balor, huh?
Sort of, yeah. And I was, you know me, I'm watching all this like New Japan stuff. So I'm just like, Finn Balor? And I was like, wait a minute. It's like Austin Theory. I'm like, I'm a dumbass. And Angel Garza with Selena Vega versus the Street Profits. Know nothing about the Street Profits, but let me tell you why I actually really like the Street Profits. And it's not because they're black. They're not the new age Harlem, but I still like them. So we have Austin Theory and Angelo Dawkins in first. Angelo Dawkins is a taller, a little bit more stockier of the Street Profits. Austin Theory gets taken down pretty quick, showing his strength. Angelo Dawkins is. Montez Ford pop. Montez Ford is on some shit.
Did you see him doing the Ultimate Warrior?
He was doing a lot of shit. And he kept going, Wrestlemania! was feeling it. It didn't. He could. It could be an audience of one, and he's gonna perform the same way as if it's an audience of 5,000. You got a new fan in me. Let me just point that out. I had no idea.
Can I say that? Do you know who Norman Smiley is?
No.
He's in WCW. I think he's in '99. Going forward till they close down.
Yeah.
Very underrated. This is like loudmouth, wiry black guy, and he just reminded me so much of Norman Smiley.
Really?
It was amazing. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Get a drop kick from both of them to Austin Theory as well as Angel Garza. Angel Garza hits a super kick on Angelo Dawkins, and then at that point calls into why did I say AG in again? Whatever. Basement drop kick onto Angelo Dawkins. He's sort of getting whooped. Angelo Dawkins blocks the super kick, calls into Montez Ford. Montez Ford does this spot where he goes over the ropes onto Austin Theory and his own teammate, which, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. And then, not to be outdone, Angel Garza's like, let me do that shit too. And he flips on everybody again. Brings Montez Ford back into the ring. Montez Ford has to be a comedy wrestler because I don't know what spot he hit him with. But he kicks out of it after the pin, and then I've replayed this like 12 times. Angel Garza's like and then it goes to Montez Ford. He's cross-eyed, and he's like,
He was awesome.
I was like, what the? Montez Ford tags back into Angelo Dawkins. He gets super kicked by Austin Theory. At that point, he goes in to pin Angelo Dawkins, and then Montez Ford does a super freaking high frog splash on his little unbalanced the way he landed onto Austin Theory. And then at that point, Angelo Dawkins gets the pin. They win. They retain their belts at that point. And then we have obviously Austin Theory and Angel and Zelina Vega all mad about this. They actually just jump Montez Ford for the most part. Yeah. He's getting whooped. He gets kicked by Zelina Vega, and then at that point, Bianca Belair shows up, which I didn't know that they were married.
I didn't either.
But I'm okay with Bianca Belair because my first time ever seeing her was Royal Rumble.
Same.
So I was like, you know what? She's got to be a killer. She's probably one of the next ones up. You know, so like, hey,
she's got some abs too.
Yeah, she's got some power to her for sure. Because she immediately picks up Zelina Vega, hits the KOD on her, and then the funniest shit is afterwards she's like taunting her and all that stuff, and then they play her music. She looked a little bit pissed off that they were playing her music because she's like, I wanted to talk more shit. So then she starts swinging her hair. And then her husband, Montez Ford, comes in, and when he comes in sliding, and he's just staring at her, and she's like, oh my God, stop. And then he's just like dancing while she's just like, I don't know. This shit was hilarious to me. Match-wise, it was pretty... I think I'm a sucker for comedy wrestlers.
Yeah, me too.
Orange Cassidy's funny to me. And now Montez Ford is someone I'm going to look out for. I give this match probably 4, just because Austin Theory 21, 22, and he's already in a WrestleMania. That's telling you something. Granted, he was a substitute for Andrade, but that's telling you something. Dude, obviously, he's got some talent.
I give it 4 as well. This is awesome. It was quick. Or if it wasn't quick, it didn't feel like it was very long.
Yeah.
I had my attention the whole time.
I had fun.
I want to say that Bianca Belair reminds me of like a JRPG female character, like who just won a match or who just won a fight. And it's her standing pose, just her spinning her hair and like bouncing her leg. I love it. I think it was great.
That's how she casts magic. She spins it real fast.
Yeah.
Gear 3.
She's freaking cool. I was down with it, and Montez Ford is cracking me up, and Angel Garza hitting some crazy ass moves, man.
Yeah,
His
he's pretty
moonsaults
talented.
were freaking beautiful.
I'm always scared about that stuff though. About seeing them do it because I don't know what it is. There's no crowd, but they're still putting their bodies on the line. Has me worried.
Yeah, nah,
But
I thought it was great.
Kevin Owens is fine.
Austin Theory, I see that TKO, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I see it. I like it.
I like it. I want more of it. I'll just cut this and you get the next one. Tyson Hill says, hey, due to the fact that Gronkowski is not here, I'm going to be hosting the rest of it, and we're going to keep this train going.
And he said that just so he can do one more thing later and make him look like an idiot.
It's not much.
Next up is a fatal 5-way elimination match. Sasha Banks versus Lacey Evans versus Tamina Snuka versus Naomi versus Bayley. Starts out with Tamina against all of them. There's a lot of stuff happened here. I didn't take perfect notes. Just have to go with it. Tamina kind of faces all of them until they knock her out for a little bit. Bayley and Sasha team up. Naomi and Lacey Evans team up. The alliance ends. Tamina re-enters. Team Bad reunites, which is Tamina, Sasha Banks, and Naomi.
Yeah, and then completely dissipates.
Completely ends with a super kick to Sasha, so that's done. Sasha does the worst looking 619 I've ever seen, and Rey Mysterio should be mad.
He's turning in his bed.
Never do that again, Sasha. If you're,
I hate that Michael Cole was like playing homage to to Rey Mysterio. I was like, no, that's not. That's
taking
just
a huge
crazy.
dump on him. Yeah. They all do top rope moves to Tamina. Poor girl. Then they all cover her, so she's out. Reminds me of the Big Show at WrestleMania 2000.
It was comedy, right?
Lacey Evans. I do like what's her Naomi's split-legged moonsault though. I always like split-legged stuff. I think those look cool. Lacey Evans and Naomi team up against Bayley and Sasha. Naomi does a double sunset flip, which defies all logic, but is still pretty cool to look at.
Yeah.
Naomi does a lot of cool stuff here. You just got to go watch it. She does a ton of just amazing moves, which makes you understand. It makes you know that she's going to lose in a second. Whenever anybody in these kind of matches is like a house of fire, they immediately lose.
They burn down.
Yeah. She eventually gets knocked out and taps to the bank statement, so you're out. They double team Lacey Evans next. Bayley accidentally knees Sasha, so there might be some drama here. Sasha and Bayley argue a little bit, and then Lacey gets up. Bayley pushes her away, and Lacey ends up hitting the women's right to Sasha and gets the 3 count. So Sasha's out. Now it's just Lacey versus Bayley. Bayley drives Lacey's shoulder into the post. Bayley ties up Evans' hand to the corner. Doesn't last longer than a minute. Not sure why they played that up. Lacey hits an awesome moonsault for 2, I believe. And then Banks runs in and hits the backstabber on Lacey. And then Bayley wins. She retains her championship. I like this match. I give it... Let's do 3 or 4.
Just do decimals. You know you want to.
I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 4. I was not bored at all. I love this match. Despite Sasha's really, really shitty 619. Everything else was really fun. It was just a fun match.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4 too. I want to point out my first note is I'm pretty sure Naomi whipped Sasha Banks with her whip when she came into the ring, because if you go back and look at it, like Sasha goes like right when she comes in and she goes right to the turnbuckle. I was like, ooh, that's so good. I mean, you can never tell; it's too dark, but it glows. It glows, and you feel the glow. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to point out, I actually really like Bailey when she's able to talk too, because there's a part where her and Sasha, that was the 2 count with the sunset, double sunset.
Yeah.
And I believe that was the point where they both rolled out, or maybe it was the following move, because Naomi was just like set on fire. And Michael Cole's like, they almost both got eliminated. And then Bailey's like, no, he didn't. Like, because she could hear them. And I was just like, oh, I forgot.
Did you hear the replay?
Yeah.
I think it was this match where they did like a replay of something and you could just hear Michael Cole screaming.
What do you mean?
It was in the like you could hear Michael Cole was having to raise his voice. Jesus Christ, please. Except it was so empty that you just hear him like very faintly go, like you could hear him screaming in the replay.
He's a loud dude. He's very loud.
It was cool.
That was funny to me. But yeah, I'd give this a 4. I enjoyed it. I actually like Lacey Evans a little more. I didn't like her with her match against Sasha at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that was a weak showing.
That was a weak showing. And then like this one is just like, yeah, it feels a little better. There was a reason why Tamina was knocked out first. She just got back. She might not have been 100. I'm sure she was 100% like physically condition wise, but I mean just like getting back into the groove of it. And WrestleMania is not the best place to be like, hey, by the way, you're back in. So that makes sense. Plus, I mean, you got Naomi. I was actually okay with Sasha except for the 619. I was okay with her.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious when she got knocked out with that knee. She was out, dude. She just dipped. That shit was hilarious to me.
Yeah.
But whatever. For the next match, did you
have to talk about it.
Did you take a lot of notes, or do you want me to?
No notes for this match.
Are you serious?
The only notes I took was Titus pretending to be emotional afterwards, and it just made me think he was an idiot.
Okay, all right. Well, you have the best match on the card, obviously. So let me hit this one then. So we have John Cena versus The Fiend, or Bray Wyatt, or both, depending on how you look at it. We have John Cena coming out, looks a little awkward, and I don't know, maybe he's like thinking, oh, there's no one here. But right as he's like, welcome to WrestleMania, and then it just cuts, and there's all this like sort of what's called stuff. It cuts to Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt starts with an intro, and then he's like, hey, we're going to have a great time. And then he goes to this door, and he's like, abandon all hope, ye who exit here, or whatever. Yeah. And then teleports John Cena in. John Cena's like, what the fuck? And they're like, all right, go into that door. He goes into that door. Vince McMahon puppet comes out and talks about ruthless aggression to John Cena. He's like, are you gonna put it all on the line, whatever? And I love that he has the demon the demon horns or whatever, which they had to run it by him. So he's like, yeah, I'm the devil.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon's okay with being a villain in a TV show.
Yeah. John Cena comes out in his ruthless aggression clothes, mimicking the match with Kurt Angle and his premiere match. He comes out and he's Bray Wyatt is obviously like, what makes you think you could take me? And he's like, or what do you think you stand, what makes you think you stand a chance? He's like, ruthless aggression. And then he swipes, ducks it. And then like the entire time Bray Wyatt is just burying him. He's like, oh my God, this is embarrassing. This is horrible. How dare you? And then he does it like 4 times and he swipes at him for ruthless aggression. Doesn't go anywhere, and then they go back further in time. They time travel back to the 1980s, pretty much, or early 90s, if you're looking at it. And then Bray Wyatt cuts a typical promo of that era where he's like, "What you gonna do?" And then John Cena comes out and he's just lifting weights, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna take it. We're gonna be the champions." And he's like, "You're gonna pay for your WrestleMania ticket and get your seat, but you're only gonna be on the edge of it." And then he keeps like just doing bicep curls the entire time. And then he can't move his arms, so he can't fight against Bray Wyatt. It's interesting. There's a cut to the Thugonomics version of John Cena.
Best part of the whole thing.
Super cringy, but it is sort of funny. John Cena does some whack bars. I hate it because, and I hate saying this term, but it applies here. He's acting black. So it's just like.
I love Thugonomics Cena.
I don't, because he's judging my race. Bray Wyatt calls out John Cena for being mean and using people to his advantage and this, that, and the third. Pretty much everything that you hear about in like a typical shoot interview, he's bringing up.
This was they did everything except for say that John Cena played politics.
Yeah, interesting enough. Bray Wyatt rewinds a gimmick to back when he was just actually Bray Wyatt and he had like Sister Abigail and all that other stuff and the stuff that should have happened with Matt Hardy, if I'm being honest, but whatever. Anyway, I'm still salty over that because I thought that was really cool. But anyway, he talks about how he's going to beat Cena. He has him like leaned over and whatnot. And then they cut to NWO. I got to be honest. I was like, in my head was like, Spencer's gonna love this. And of course he's playing the guitar and everything like that. And he comes out as NWO, but I think John Cena's trying to pick up at this point. But I want to point out the Vince McMahon puppet says, "Yeah, this is the good shit." I was fucking dying at that point. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
He takes off, or he puts down the belt. I think he took off like his hat or something else or whatever. And then the Fiend finally shows up behind John Cena. Hits a mandible claw on him, pretty extensive one. Right? Mandible claw? It still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they call it something else, but it's a mandible claw.
The Fiend claw. And Bray Wyatt, then while the Fiend is pinning him, counts to 3 count, and he pins him. So in his head, the Fiend won. I'd give it like a 2.5 because I thought it was funny. There was a lot of funny moments. Like this is good shit. I came out of left field, so I was laughing. And the NWO thing was funny because we're going through the 97 stuff right now. That was funny. I'm sure you like the thugonomics, the ruthless aggression, and the earlier era thing. I feel like it just played homage to, if not John Cena's career, wrestling up until this point, like when it's on like TV as most people remember it.
I give it a 2. I kind of get what they're doing. I like the stuff, but it does not belong in a wrestling event. It, like Matt Hardy stuff that we talked about earlier with like the Undertaker thing, I give that leeway only so far.
It's a borderline thing.
Yeah. This totally crossed it. It was kind of garbage, but it was their part. So that's just stupid. But everything else, I mean, there are parts that made me laugh, and it was, I guess, not boring. There are some parts that were oddly boring, but it was frenetic enough that it was interesting. So 2 stars. It's just way like, if you're not understanding the politic part of it, then it would make absolutely no sense.
Yeah,
that's really the whole crux of the whole thing. Is it's just politics. It's like, okay,
so they're playing to the smarty like wrestling.
Yeah,
guys. Yeah. Happens. Maybe that's a new era of entertaining your audience. I mean, some people do that. AEW did it.
I guess. All right, Brack.
Back.
No, did you see Titus O'Neil going, I don't know what to say?
And then they cut.
That was him being the host.
Thanks for hosting, Titus. I don't know your name anymore.
Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre won the Royal Rumble, and he eliminated Brock Lesnar from it. Brock Lesnar starts out in charge, but Drew McIntyre quickly hits a Claymore and Claymore and gets a 2 count. Lesnar dodges the second Claymore, hits a German, another German, another German. Brock Lesnar hits an F5, 1 count. Hits another F5, 2 count. Hits another F5, another 2 count. Drew McIntyre counters counters another F5, hits a Claymore, hits another, and then gets a 3 count. He's your new WWE champion. That literally is every move in the match.
Yes.
I give it a.
One.
I give it a 3. I give it a 3. You give it a 1? Why do you give it a
I'm
1?
so mad about that because I think Drew can do better. Like when it comes to Braun Strowman and Goldberg, they're here. They can't do better.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre can do better. Brock Lesnar has had good matches. It's dependent on the person he's wrestling, but who's that to say Drew can't be that person? They didn't even try. It's like turning in a homework assignment and you're just like, oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't cite my sources. I didn't do any of this shit. Oh, it's supposed to be a paragraph long. Yeah, sorry, it's only 3 sentences. Like, that's all it was. It was less than the bare minimum. That's why I'm so upset about this match. Like, seriously, the fact that we can count it down just like the Brock Lesnar match. What did I give the Lesnar match? 1 star? Or not the Lesnar match, the Goldberg match? I think I gave it 1 star.
I think it was 0.
I gave it 0 stars. I gave this one 1 star just because I don't know. I like the way the Claymore kick looks. That's it.
Looks pretty neat.
Yeah, it looks like he's leaning back. You know, it's kind of cool. You don't see shit like that in anything. I don't know. But like it's I can't treat them differently in too far apart from each other. It's still the same problem. You can do more. You didn't. I got to review it as such.
I like the emotion that Brock Lesnar has. I like the spectrum that he went through of like being frustrated at one point, laughing, just being like, okay, whatever, and then getting really pissed off when he kicked out of it the 3rd time. I know the Brock Lesnar formula is for better or for worse. Just these quick matches that's just power moves.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the match enough, but yeah, I mean, would I prefer a longer match with more psychology to it? Absolutely.
Yes. What are we watching now, dude? Like we're watching that stuff. We're not all the time, right? You got Sid Vicious in there, but we're watching some good matches. And where did the psychology go? Like this is so. Here's the thing: is that showing how you treat your belt, or how that person gets the belt is how you consider like entertainment, top of the chart, right? It doesn't matter if you're the one that decided to still have a WrestleMania, even given the circumstances, because you're like, oh, we want to be a distraction, and whatnot, and then you're going to do one Raw, and then I don't think doing anything else. And going straight into the Money in the Bank May 10th, which is also a thing that's
right.
Raising some eyebrows. Who's getting AJ Styles out of the grave? Are we going to talk about Braun Strowman having the belt? Are we going to talk about the fact that Roman Reigns isn't there? Like, Roman Reigns won't be here until like September, October timeframe. He probably won't.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
If we're being honest, he's just not going to show up. So he won't be there. You're going to have some of these other guys still showing up. Like the Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins thing is probably going to continue. They want to split up, or people are talking about splitting up the Kabuki Warriors because they should feud with each other, because apparently every tag team should always feud with each other.
I wouldn't.
I don't know if I wouldn't have them feud, but I'd split them up because they're both good wrestlers. That's about it. But why do they need to feud? There's nothing organic there. Oh, I don't like you, but we're from the same fucking country, and we're in a country of like.
Well, and the gimmick is that they speak Japanese, right?
Yeah. So what are they gonna do? Team with Shinsuke Nakamura now?
Or are they gonna like a good feud has a lot of promos in it? Yeah.
Can't wait to get the translator for that.
Yeah.
You guys got language line on deck? Like that shit,
dude. If they do it like how they did with the Ty Kai in 2000, where they have really bizarre, they like
isn't that racist?
It's incredibly racist, but it'd be super funny.
Anyway, overall, yeah, I don't like that match. I don't like that last match at all. I get why they didn't have John Cena as the last match, or have it even on the first night, because that might set the wrong example. But part of me thinks maybe the Boneyard match should have been on night 2. Because people are like, oh, hey, that was a whole lot better. It's a little more grounded in reality.
Yeah, I definitely like that one more than the John Cena one.
Yeah, the John Cena one, I audibly went, "Is that it?" While I sort of had fun with some of the jokes that they were doing, it was a lot of jokes. It was a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
I was still like, "Is that it?" Oh, they're not even wrestling in a wrestling match. Okay. And if John Cena never wrestles again, that's a bad match to leave off on.
Yeah, I don't think
That's,
I'm sure he will.
yeah, I'm sure he will too. Just not a good one.
What's the best match of the night or the nights?
Best match for me, it's a tie between the Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair and the Austin Theory and Angel Garza versus the Street Profits.
Whoa, you like it that much?
I had fun. I'm telling you, I had fun.
That was a good one.
Because okay, so let me break it down just so I'm not being like biased here, because that's both of those are night 2, right? So the Alexa Bliss versus Kabuki Warriors, no, sorry. The Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan, no. King Corbin versus Elias, are you fucking kidding me? Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler, no, not really. That one didn't really rub me the right way either. Kofi Kingston versus Jimmy Uso versus John Morrison, maybe. That's in there, but it's not my top. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins is probably my number 3, because I did have fun watching that one.
That's gotta be match of the first one night, either that or the Undertaker one.
Do you want to do it based off of match of the nights, like each individual night? Then I'd say Kevin Rollins, Seth Owens and Kevin Rollins.
Their eventual tag team. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably say that one. Just because Braun Strowman Goldberg is shit.
Okay.
And the Undertaker versus AJ Styles match didn't resonate with me. Sorry. I know some people really liked it. It's just not my thing. For night 2, if I'm really breaking it down, the Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair match was constructed better than the Austin Theory and Angel Garza match versus Street Profits, but I had more fun with that match.
Oh, for
so
sure.
It's give and take. Like, I was falling asleep at certain parts of night 2, and it was like more towards the middle of the Rhea Ripley match, just because it's what we're used to. It's like, it's not like it's necessarily a bad match. It's just like, like when we watch Raw, for instance, like in 97, like they'll be like, all right, hey, we've got Bret Hart against Shawn Michaels. You're like, man, this should be a great match, right? Or no, we've got like Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold versus who they fight? Legion of Doom the last time we watched?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this should be really interesting.
It doesn't really matter who's getting the sleeper hold, right? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. It's still a sleeper hold. So it's just like,
yeah.
So it's like that weird sort of vibe. And I know we're moving into an age where for a little bit WCW has more of that technical wrestling until like the 2001 side, and then we start to see a little more technical wrestling. But like it's what we're looking at right now is very much that Raw style. I liked the Street Profits match more because I laughed because it was funny. It was a pleasant surprise, and the wrestlers were all doing like spots and keeping pacing wise. It was better paced. That's why. And some tag matches can be horribly paced, like the Nikki Cross and Lex Bliss. I was just like, eh. But that one was more for me. So yeah, I'd give it to the Street Profits, Austin Theory, and Angel Garza.
I think what would have made that pop more for me if there's a crowd.
Yeah.
Like the stuff at the end, like when she comes out, when Belair, whatever her name is, when she comes out and saves it, like that would be cool if there's a big pop going, yay, you saved him. But it's just dead silence.
That's true.
That stuff just killed it, man.
But then you wouldn't have the cross-eyed Montez Ford getting up. You gotta watch that scene, dude. It's fucking hilarious. He's just like, I love it.
my toss-up is between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, and then Edge versus Randy Orton. I will give it to Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. I just thought it was a great match. Like, great psychology. Everything was smooth, although it is not technically a live show, so maybe they can clean it up. But even still, it just looked really, really cool. I couldn't tell who's gonna win. It was back and forth.
Here's a better question: why wasn't it a 5 for you?
I think emotion. Not and this isn't not it's not fair because I don't watch, but I don't really have an emotional connection with this.
I'd say for me, I'd say because the booking doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
As to why Charlotte won over Rhea. I mean, okay, no, it does in the sense that Charlotte was how many championships has she won?
10, I think she said.
She's been around the block. So yeah, some person coming up from NXT shouldn't be able to beat her. Maybe not cleanly beat her, but beat her. I think her desperation in getting her knee messed up or her leg messed up should like trigger something in her to do something maybe to result in not the cleanest one, but a win nonetheless. She gets the belt. Charlotte loses. Charlotte has to then still battle people in NXT. Meanwhile, Rhea Ripley is defending. Or is moving up, or maybe fighting against other people outside of NXT at that point.
Yeah, I think this gives NXT a lot of shine, like for their women's division.
Yeah.
So I know they're up against AEW, obviously not like right now because of a certain coronavirus, but you know when the time comes, you got Charlotte Flair, you can put her on NXT every Wednesday and have a bunch of really awesome women's matches that get a lot of attention. Yeah,
Bianca Belair is still there. They haven't wrestled, I don't think.
And eventually she's got to give up the title to somebody, so that'll be a good push for whoever that might be. Maybe that'll be, what's her face, Shayna Baszler.
Maybe. I mean, hey, Keith Lee just won, I think, the NXT Men's Champion.
Oh, there. Nice.
Send him up.
Bring that guy up. Bury him up here. Edge, that's the thing, is the Edge and Randy Orton one did have the emotional connection. But again, it's not fair. I know these characters. But also, it just was an emotional match. Like, even before the match started, just the promo, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. And then the ending was really cool. It's a little bit boring.
Bogged down, yeah.
So they both could have been 5s. One was missing emotion, one was missing excitement.
Performance, really. Yeah, it was a hardcore match.
Yeah. Yeah, hardcore match with story, which is cool, but a hardcore match is still kind of a hardcore match.
Yeah.
What's the worst match of the night?
Well, they're both title changes. I can tell you that. Might even be a tie between the two.
What matches? I think I know, but what matches? I know one of them is Goldberg versus Braun Strowman.
That's the only one at this point. Going back to what I was saying, I only gave it 1 star because Drew McIntyre can do better, and I like the guy, and I don't hate Brock Lesnar. Goldberg used to be a childhood hero of mine, and all that dude can do is and all that dude can do is spear.
Yes. And a jackhammer, but not to Braun Strowman.
No, not Braun Strowman. Not even fucking the Fiend.
Fiend's a big boy too.
Fiend's a big boy, but where's all that? What's all that muscle for? Is what I got to start asking at that point, man.
Okay.
Got some questions for you. I don't care if you're gassed out. You better show up and play. So yeah, no. Drew McIntyre, I think Drew McIntyre should be a big body that can do stuff. He's the next like Sid Vicious in the sense of physique. He's tall. He's very athletic. He's got a good look to him. Just give him more wrestling like matches where he has to actually perform. Make him fight Daniel Bryan. Make him fight fucking, like Cesaro. Make him fight anybody who's like really technical.
Yeah.
And
I think he will do that when he's doing it. It's just the Brock Lesnar stuff is
not a good. I don't care what the circumstances are. They made They were like, hey, we're going to do WrestleMania. All right, fine. You're going to do it, and you're going to put out this shit. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. You guys act like this is the first time that you have to put a match together. No, you didn't even have to put a match together on the fly. You guys had how many months to build this?
Yeah,
he was a shoo-in in February. How can the Street Profits switch out, go against Andrade, and Andrade switch out for Austin Theory, and they have a good match. It's called talent. Drew should have talent. He looks like he has talent. I believe he does. Brock Lesnar's at the tail end of his career. He's like, what? Like almost 50? Going on 50? He's starting to get moves, so he's got to slow down a little bit. So back off a little bit, Brock, right? And then Heyman's going to need a new guy. Why not go for McIntyre right now? Teach him a little bit about shooting from the hip.
Brock's 42 years old.
42?
Yeah.
It looks like he's 92. So, not that bad. But seriously, he looks older than he actually is. And Drew. Look up Drew. How old's Drew?
Let's take a gander.
He's probably in his 30s. Early 30s. No, he said 19 years. No, he's probably in his
34 years old.
34. He said, I've been waiting 19 years. So he's wrestling when he was fucking 15. So he's 34. He's still in his prime. He can still wrestle. Put him up against AJ Styles for all I care. But get something out of him. You can do that. That's the only reason why I gave that match a 1. The 0 is because Braun Strowman cannot. He's shown time and time again that unfortunately, and I get he had this thing where he was talking about like how he's like, oh man, all these haters talking about how I couldn't do it. You still can't. Did you not realize that you're the second choice for someone you're the second choice for someone's prom date? You were not asked first. You ain't getting a kiss at the end. Don't you realize that? I don't hate Braun, but you have to realize he's like, oh, I worked my way up. Yeah, it's going to show up on your record that you were the Universal Champ, but you're probably giving that title to someone tomorrow. Or it's probably already been recorded. Or it has been recorded.
Well, let me counter you. You're saying that, and rightfully so, that Braun Strowman and Goldberg are shitty wrestlers and they put up a shitty match.
Yes.
I agree. But what about this counter of 2 really good wrestlers? Okay. Braun Strowman and Goldberg are shitty wrestlers that work shitty matches. So this match was incredibly short. Played to their strengths. Used a couple moves. They didn't.
One move each.
Not a technical masterpiece. It was literally, each one only used one move that they knew how they could hit, and that's it. Okay. At least they played to their strengths. Imagine a match with 5 people in it that are all incredibly talented. The match is way longer than it needs to be. And
you're talking about the women's match?
Incredibly boring. No.
The women? Oh.
I'm talking about Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn.
Oh. Yeah. No, that was very boring.
Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak, who seems to be good. Sami Zayn, who I know is really good. Cesaro, who I know is really good, and they haven't been using him for shit at all for years. And Nakamura, who I know is very, very good. Put all these guys in a ring, and that's what we got. So
a shite match.
That is my worst match. The amazing disappointment I felt of watching Daniel Bryan, who by all intents and purposes could be the best wrestler in the world. Absolute shit the bed. Boring, dumb match. That's my worst match of the night.
When you put it like that, it makes a lot of sense. Because then you're looking at who let me down the most. And that's a bigger drop because it's only going to be a bigger drop the higher your expectations are.
Yeah.
I went into Braun Strowman and Goldberg like underground and got let down. But going into that one, I see what you're saying because you're like at least expecting this and then getting dropped. That's a smart way of looking at it. What's your overall rating for this? Comparing both nights. Both nights all win one. Out of 10, though. We do out of 10.
2 out of 10. Give it a 6.
I give it a 5. I don't think it's worth. If you don't have the network and you like They don't do that anymore, right? Like you have to pay money, even if you didn't have the network, or if you didn't have the network, like you pay real money. It's only on the
they
network,
have that.
right?
They have that.
If you paid real money for this, I'm sorry. I really am.
Yeah.
You were let down.
I think I feel guilty about giving it lower than a 6. To me, 5 means like what you're just saying. It's not bad. It's just not good enough to pay real money for.
Yeah.
It's
like you have it on in the background while you're doing something else.
Oops. Yeah. I feel bad and guilty because there's 2 reasons for me that it was really bad. Well, no, there's other reasons, but two of the main reasons are there was no audience.
Can't control that.
Yeah, actually, that might. I guess the other things are trickling from that. So, well, no, there's no real audience. There's 2 things, but they're coming from the coronavirus. There's no audience, and half the cast is gone because of extraneous reasons. So, I just feel guilty about giving it a lower score because that sort of stuff really hurt it for me. I feel like it would have been better if those 2 things were fixed.
Fixed? It's kind of hard to fix a virus.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like if those 2 problems weren't there, I think it would be a better show.
Really? I think the Randy Orton and Jericho match would be better.
Edge?
I know what I want. Yeah, if it was Edge and Randy Orton in front of a crowd, it'd probably be better. But you know what else? You know what else they'd have to do? Both of those matches that I didn't like, that I gave the lowest scoring, would actually have to have legitimate wrestling in them.
And Roman Reigns could have actually, I think, had a match with Goldberg, at least longer than it was, and done more moves.
Honestly, just put fucking Roman Reigns versus Drew, which I think might actually happen.
That'll be a match. That'll be a match for sure.
Just because I wouldn't say Roman's the most technical. He's not full on brawler.
He's somewhere in between, yeah.
He's like a weird in between. He's young enough to where he's not like my back's broken, kind of thing. I need to just punch you now, kind of thing. And Drew is young enough, has enough muscle on him to where he can, but he looks flexible as fuck.
Yeah,
he could probably turn some stuff out. He looks like he can do some shit. So just let these guys do some shit. Craft a legit match. Why can't we get a classic? That's all I want to know. I know it's classic, like 10 years later, you look back on it, you're like, oh, that was a classic. But like, why can't we get something that makes people go, man, legendary? Why do I have to go back and go like, oh, the Jericho match? Oh, the Shawn Michaels match? Even though it was that far back, you still even thought that they were good matches then. Why do you think Shawn Michaels walked around like his shit didn't stink? Because he was the only guy up on the game, and he was like, yeah, I know how to make better wrestling than these guys that just punch each other in the faces. Hulk Hogan left for a reason, because he fucking sucks. He went to a place that's offering him more money to just punch people and show up every other month. Like, seriously.
It's a good question about the classical thing. I don't know. It's because, well, one thing is that you have to have characters. A big part of wrestling is the characters. Even if you think, oh man, these 2 men, like, they're so technical. They have this technical masterpiece that's got good psychology, yada, yada, yada. That matters for a good match, but also the character part does, and they don't have that star yet.
You know why the Edge and Orton match, or the build-up was so good?
They're stars.
Because they made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had freedom to make it. So imagine that. You give these guys some fucking freedom. Orton's not Hall of Famer yet. I don't think, right? He's not inducted.
He's not in it.
He's guaranteed.
Yeah. I think they try to wait till you're done wrestling and then they induct you.
Welcome back, Edge.
Yes. Well, they thought he was done.
On this day, he's retired. And he just came back, but like, you don't have to be a Hall of Famer to be like, hey, I can put on some good shit. Like, it's the same thing for for Daniel Bryan. Like Drew Gulak was not getting anywhere without Daniel Bryan going, "Hey, I want to have a match with this guy. Let me send around my sway
Mhm.
in the company to get this guy in a match with me for in a pay-per-view, so he gets the most eyes on him."
It's funny you talk about like good match, like legendary matches. I think if you watch some of those NXT takeovers, have you done that yet? I think you were wanting to.
I've looked at a couple. I'm gonna watch some more now because I know the women's division in there is pretty solid.
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm gonna find in like 2017 though.
I heard that the last couple of them had some really classic matches, even 5-star. Dave Meltzer says.
Everyone keeps saying Ciampa and Gargano.
Watch those because they might be classic, but the problem with that is that it suffers from the same thing the other ones have, where it's like they're very technically good and they're great and well executed and everything, but who are these people?
I'm about to go to New Japan, dude. I'm like this close to going to New Japan. If I'll turn into a wrestling snob. Like, oh,
you could do that.
okay.
You'll be that side of the show.
Could have been better.
Yeah, Brett versus the Sid Vicious was whatever. It was no Takahashi Nintendo.
It was no Okada. Okada versus Omega.
Yeah,
could have been better. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever be like that. But ditch now.
What did you think of WrestleMania 36? Viewers at home.
Both nights.
Yeah, give us your review.
You think they should keep doing both nights or keep it at one?
I like the both nights thing. I'm down with that.
Same.
I'm Spencer.
And JD.
This is
The Heel Turn. We're not in sync because there's probably lag. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.